I'm saying to you, just doing any course, even this course as well, or another course as well, Durgesh Yadav course as well, whatever course, will not give you a job. But what will give you a job? Doing course is the majority of part, which is, I believe, 70% of the part is learning skill. Doing any course will give you opportunity to learn in a structured way from good people. If you have some questions, you can ask them. You can ask them questions. It's not like they are the genius in that field, but they're not the genius. They have gone through that pressure. Like I was telling you, I have gone through so many things. That's why I am here. Maybe someone is there who is better than me. He has gone through that thing, that pressure, and then that's why he's there. Pressure in the sense of struggling, pressure in the sense of learning something, pressure in the sense of um, just trying something for just trying for something, or pressure in the sense of desperately waiting for that day. That is also the pressure. Maybe many of you guys are working somewhere. Some of you guys just want to change your conditions, or some of the guys are unemployed as well. You are just waiting for that one day. But to get that one day, you have to do a lot of things. So just by doing any course will not give you job, but this course will give you 70% of the skills which is required to crack a job. Rest 30% is we will cover in this whole schedule. What rest 30% you have to do, and that rest 30% plays a significant importance in cracking any opportunity. That is what happened with me. So I was saying I got the job as a data engineer, but in this whole thing, I got a bad habit, which was applying for jobs, giving interviews, learning parallelly. Just keep these three things in mind: applying for jobs, learning parallelly, and giving interviews. How this interview thing happened? So there's just a formula which I observed. The time is inversely proportional to number of applications, which means if your number of applications are less, the time will increase. And if your number of applications which you apply to jobs are more, the time will decrease. Which time will decrease? The time of that day to happen. I mean, suppose you graduated in 2021 in the month of August. You are jobless. You are applying to 10 jobs per day. Then that time will increase so much. This means maybe even in 6 months you will not get the job. Maybe even after 1 year you will not get the job. And just after 2-3 months, there is something which Indian job market is very particular about, which is having a career gap. People want, or Indian education system wants, or the Indian companies want you don't have career gap. You should just graduate and then start working. That's why it is really important to get the job just after the graduation, or like before the graduation as well. So the number of applications which you apply is inversely proportional to time. Okay. So if you apply to more number of applications, that time in which you should have done something, you should have got the opportunity, will significantly decrease by a huge amount. Why I am telling this all? Because I have gone through all these things. I have done these things. I have observed these patterns. And sometimes, I mean, as a data engineer, software engineer, as a data analyst itself, or as a normal human being, the life is just about observing patterns or connecting dots. If you're very good in observing patterns, you can able to read someone else's code base and get your things done. In the same way, Durgesh Yadav is very good at analyzing pattern in SQL. That's why he is able to do the SQL questions very fast. I am very good at observing patterns. That's why I'm the quick decision maker. So what happened in the month of August to January? I was just blindly applying to opportunities. You guys may not believe, but I was from a very small college. And this is not that kind of story that people tell, I was poor before, I was born poor, then I become rich. It's not that kind of story. I'm just saying. So I was from a very small college, and just applying to number of applications, more number of applications will reduce that time significantly. That's why I can able to crack PwC. That's why I can able to crack SHL, and that's why I can able to become a data engineer in Credit B. But in the meantime, I have given interviews, international interviews as well. I interviewed for MongoDB Australia. I got rejected. I interviewed for Zoom China. I got rejected. I interviewed for, there was a company in Singapore. I got rejected. But that habit of giving interviews was not gone, because I was not that kind of person who is just satisfied. I got one opportunity and I am done. I achieved everything. If I would have that kind of mindset, this time I would be in PwC, not in my current company. So what happened after January, I was applying to other opportunities as well. Then I was applying to Netherlands, I was applying to UK, I was applying to Switzerland, I was applying to whole across Europe. I applied for some opportunities in US as well, but just some opportunities. Majority of opportunities I was applying to Luxembourg, Europe, and other European countries. So what happened in the month of March, I applied to a company CGG. It was in UK. And that company rejected my application. That company rejected my application. I got revert from them that you are not selected. We are not moving forward with you in the month of April. I was like, okay, like other opportunities, this is just a, like, automated rejections. It was same kind of automated rejection. But my destiny was different. After some months, I got a call from them that, sorry, Karthik, by mistake, we have sent you this. By mistake, we have sent you this rejection email. And then we just want to interview you. Then long story short, I interviewed for them. I got opportunity in London. Then I left my company in India, Credit B. I went to London in the month of September. And then in 2022, I went to London in CGG as a data engineer itself. I was working as a data engineer, everything was going fine. And then again, after some months, in the month of March, again, this March I'm talking about, 2023, again I have to come back to India because of my some family circumstances. Now again, I am working as a software engineer or like a data engineer in a company, Netradyne. So this was my whole story in short. But how I got all of these opportunities? Just by doing three things, which was learning parallelly, applying for jobs parallelly with a very good resume. And third thing is that you have to act very fast. Whenever something's come up, you have to act very, very fast. I came to India on 2nd of April 2022 without job. I was jobless. But I did something in the month of March. I did something that I can able to get the interview on 4th of April. I can able to join the company in 10th of April. That all things happened in sync. But that was not like I was the lucky one. That was like I was the quick decision maker. I never wait opportunity. I just able to do things quickly. Can you show me your resume? Okay, are you hiring me? Okay, I will. It's fine. It's fine. We will just relax. I will send you my LinkedIn. Then you guys can see there. It's fine. I am wondering because like 15 participants joined this first class, which usually happen. It's fine. So this is the thing. This was my story. And currently, and one more thing happened. Like when I was going to London, I started this whole thing like to help people, because I realized somehow by observing this pattern, many people don't know how to make resume. Many people don't know how to get opportunities. Many people don't know where to start. Many people stuck in some online tech platforms. They charge so much money. Even I was stuck there. Even I was stuck in 2018 to an online platform blindly because I was directionless. I didn't know what to do. But I joined a very expensive online platform that was shitty, and that things didn't work out. So I started all of these things in the month of September 2022. That was not the platform, the Data City. It was just me and Durgesh Yadav, who just want to help some other students, because he was also in Masai. He was learning there, and he said, he come to me, Kartik, there are other students as well. Can we do something about them? Because he was very good in SQL, I was very good in Python. I said, yeah, we can do something about them. Then we taught all of those students, help them, mentored them as well, and then they can able to crack some many companies. Like, yeah, all of them got placed. One was placed in Nvidia, one was placed in this company in Four, one got placed in the, I don't remember the company to be true, but yeah, many of the students got placed. And the background and experience they were having was very different. Like, one was a television tester on a production line in a company. Like, not that testing, not that computer science testing. That was manual testing, like using some soldering iron or something. And then one guy was uh, working in some like TCS or something. He got opportunity for like 15,000 per month, but he can able to crack another job. After that, I mentored some other people in the month of November as well. There was a girl who was working in TCS, and she was on a notice period. She can able to crack Myntra at 10-12 LPA. There are many other people. And one more thing, your mentor Durgesh Yadav itself. I was his mentor. I mentored your mentor Durgesh Yadav, because Durgesh Yadav didn't have this opportunity target in his hand. I got the call for target. Then I realized, and I got rejected from their interview, because they were hiring for a data analyst, and I was not a data analyst guy. I got rejected, but I was observing Durgesh was doing nothing in his life. He was jobless. He didn't had skill as well. He was not into SQL and all. I mentored him for like 7-8 months and referred to him to Target. He gave interviews in Target, and then he got rejected because he performed terrible at managerial round. Technical round he cracked, but he performed terrible at managerial round. From there, I realized, even when you have good skills and all, there's a probability that you may get rejected in the managerial round itself. From there, I started my complete this mentorship course, where I used to make resume of people, give them those. I assume those people are very good in tech, or like those people are good in tech, but they just need a direction how to get the opportunities, how to create opportunities. There I started my mentorship and all. I was in London. I was helping them in India as well. I was making resumes of many people. They can able to change their situation. Many people got the opportunity. There was some guy, I don't really remember, Shuja and all. Yeah, Mohit. They were working in as a network engineer from like past 5 years, but now they have very good job. They have very good hike, more than 100% hike. They're working as a BI analyst, data analyst. From the network engineer to they change their profile. They learned as well by their own, but I have mentored them, prepared their resume. So I have resume expertise, plus I have expertise in teaching as well, and mentorship. Mentorship is my best thing. I love to consult people. So the whole point of telling you all this thing was, just try to act quickly, create opportunities. Don't wait for opportunities. Somehow some people will come, somehow someone will refer you, somehow someone will refer you, you will get things done. No, nobody will help you. First, help yourself. Go get the things, research a lot, and then do the things. So I have observed one more thing, which is really important for you guys to know. Some people think that, like you as well, now you are in this course, you will think for like next 2 months, you will study in this course. Then after 2 months, you will think, okay, we studied this course, we will practice. Then after next 2 months, you will apply for jobs. No. So what was my situation? How I can able to quickly jump from company to company, company to company, from India to London, London back to India, and then now again going to Amsterdam after some days. I don't know when, but yeah. So how these all things happened? These things all happened because I was constantly learning. So there are two paths. One, just imagine your left hand and right hand. There are two paths. Learning continuously and applying to opportunities. What people do, they just go on this one path blindly. Learning. From the since the day you born, you graduate from class 12 and then you graduate from your uni. You were just learning. But then after uni, you stopped learning. You have to apply or work. But what happened within the when we were in uni, we should have this mindset. Okay, learning is done till our uh, senior high school, like that is class 12th. Learning is done. Now we have to go ahead, which is we have to learn quickly and apply parallelly. Even the people who are outside of India, what is the struggle they are facing? They go to universities for for their masters, for their bachelors and all. They pay huge amount of money, they have huge amount of loan, but there is not a placement thing in outside of India. So they have to apply on their own to companies. But what happened with them as well? Sometimes they are not skillful, and many times their resume is shitty. Even many times they don't know how to get the opportunity. Many people don't try to follow up. Many people don't follow that formula. Time is universally proportional number of applications. So they think that they're outside of India. They will apply to 10, 20 jobs. They will get the opportunity. No, it's not like that. Even I applied to opportunities in London, but I couldn't able to get it because outside of India, getting opportunities even way more harder. There's something called visa, which visa sponsorship that company should have that kind of license so they can give you visa sponsorship. If the companies don't have license, just imagine it as a small startup like India, and they can't give you license, so you can't work in another country. That's why getting out opportunity outside of India is even way more harder in comparison to your own country. So these all things happened with me. So I just want, before starting any of this class, any of this program, I just want you to be quick decision maker. Learn the skills parallelly from this course. Ask me for my advice. And then after 7-8 days, just start applying and all. If you have a good resume, very good resume, very good LinkedIn profile, just start applying. And learn as well parallelly. Not just depend on this course. Learn by yourself as well. And then this get the idea from this course, learn from this. But majority of time, you who guys don't have any job should be spending to applying on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best platform, so you guys should apply on LinkedIn. So this was the whole motivation to tell you everything whatever I taught you. Now, anyone have any question? Ask me. Anyone have any question?
Karthik,
Yeah.
hello. Any special group created for this course, or
Contact Durgesh.
okay?
Anyone has any other question? Any other things they want to know? Any other thing they want to suggest some SQL based project so that it will help you increase analytical skills. Yeah. You have another class at evening, which is SQL. If you have gone through this, if you are enrolled in this course, and you may have gone through this course, there's SQL as well that Durgesh is teaching tonight. That is an introductory class for all of you. You just ask any SQL doubt in that question. Any other thing you guys want, because this is just a first class, so I don't want it to very hectic. So yeah, ask any question, whatever you have to ask. And be courageous. Just I will not eat you out. Just be courageous and ask something. And then ask questions. Or share your share your journey or share your situation as well. Come on, guys, any one of you. How you guys can crack the interview if you guys not speak in front of myself? Just do the things. Okay, I assume silence. Yes, sir. There are projects at the end, and I don't know. Maybe you will find it vague. Yeah, I will share. Maybe you will find it vague, but the data engineering interviews I have given so far, nobody asked me about the project which I have done. They asked me the data engineering question, data engineering concepts, and Python heavily, not SQL. I mean, this is maybe this just happened with me. They asked Python, but many of my friends they have given interviews in like company like BP and all, Techion, Target even. So they were asking the cloud questions, SQL questions as well. It depends on company to company or interview to interviewer. The main thing that I've not had experience on hands on my company as I'm on bench. Okay. So yeah, you are on bench. It's fine. And you don't have hands-on experience. How would you be able to justify my experience? Exactly. There's something which is common sense, which most people don't have. Only Shubham, you know that you are on bench. Okay. Only you know what is the work you have done in your company. Only you know what you have to write on resume to show to me. And only you know how to justify your experience. So this is the same things. These are the same questions. People were struggling, like who were doing testing on production line and all. I asked them, just be clear with your concept like Python and SQL. Whatever the things you will write on your resume, I will take your mock interviews, mentor you and all. And then don't worry about rest. And that thing happened, that thing worked out. So only you are the face of your resume. Okay. Whatever you say to another company, they will find it true. Because only you know what you have worked in your current company, what you haven't worked in another company. So don't think about this too much. If you don't have skills and all, just learn skills, pedally apply, and you never know when you will get lucky. Okay, when you will get lucky, when you will get the when you will get the interview call, when you will get the first round, second round, third round, fourth round. Even I got rejected after completing 4 rounds of interviews, like in 5th round as well. So just do things and don't worry about how I will be. I am here, you are in this program. I will answer all of your questions, all of your questions. That's why this is Python data engineering course. And I was like, keep saying to all, you guys will not just learn the things, you will guys learn my experience as well. And Raz asked, what are the softwares will cover? So just go through the course structure again, if you did it, if you haven't, and see the what is the course structure we will cover. So that's all. I mean, I really wanted to teach, but I assume there are some international students who couldn't able to join the class and they're not present here. So I will start teaching you from tomorrow, but wait for a second. Let me give you more clarity. Now come to technical part. Story is done. So this course name was Python for Data Engineering course. And again, welcome all. So we will be covering topics like Python completely, Python, because whatever the companies I have been to, I was working on Python, building softwares, writing code, making pipeline. Pipeline is not a thing. It is just a script. You can say Python script. Pipeline is just writing code and working on SQL.
Kartikeya, are you sharing your screen?
Okay. I have to. Okay, I will share my screen. Just hold. I'm just going through the presentation, but that's fine. Let me share my screen. Is it clarity? Okay, okay, okay. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Okay, I'm sharing. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Anyone, can you please respond?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah. So, welcome to this data engineering course, Python for data engineering. Why Python? Because Python is the most easy language that you guys can learn, and the development is very fast in Python. And the choice for the data engineers is Python and Scala. And these are the topics which we will be covering in this whole program, which is Python complete, which is the, majority of part of data engineering. I will teach you not just Python, but I will teach you Python for data engineering. That it will be a little different. So the file formats which you guys see, like CSV, Parquet and all, and why these file formats, why we are doing this, why we are doing that. So this question is to develop your skills and your mindset. Sorry, this program is to develop your skills and mindset. Okay, it is not just a theoretical that I'm teaching you in theory and all. This will be heavily focused on code, and this will happen that you will not get 100% out of this course, but you will get that much that you can able to confidently sit in an interview, and the questions they will ask, you can able to answer them. And as I will be taking mock interviews as well, so don't worry about it. So SQL, Durgesh will cover it. SQL, Airflow, Docker, PySpark, whatever the tools and technologies I have listed here, I use these daily. Every day I use this, every day, not in one go. Like suppose there are 4-5 lines which are in Kafka. Linux is there. I used to run all the codes and all on the Linux machine, because if you don't know Linux, then you can't work on a data engineering. Linux is there because everything run on cloud. So to interact with cloud, there's something called CLI, command line interface, which means CLI. You need Linux. AWS services are there because small companies don't have their large infrastructure. So they run all of their compute on AWS. Even not compute, AWS offer more than compute. They offer a small component of software as well. Like something is queue and stack. So they offer these things as well. PySpark again is a tool for data processing. It is like pandas, but it is very compute heavy. It can able to do things quickly. SQL is there because we are talking about data. You have to query data from the database, get some insights, get some pipeline, build some pipelines. Building pipeline is like, suppose you have an application, users are interacting with it, your application itself generating some data, and you have to put your data back into your system. That is where SQL come into picture. And remember one thing, this Python is there. Within Python, you interact with AWS. There's a library Boto3. I will show you tutorials. With Python, you will interact with SQL as well. There's a library PyMySQL. With Python, you interact with file formats as well. There's a library Pandas or any other library like Excel and all. Within Python, you write this batch processing code using offset or something in SQL. From Python, you write the Airflow job scheduler. From Python, you write the Python Docker file. From Python, you can also able to execute Linux commands. From Python, you can able to interact with Kafka, and Kafka itself is integrated in AWS. So if you will see, Python or code is the core. Rest all of those things we call APIs. What is PySpark? PySpark is a Python API built on the top of Python to provide you heavy computing. What is Airflow? Airflow is a scheduler, and the amazing thing about Airflow that you will get to know Airflow only support Python. AWS is a cloud. You can interact with cloud using Java, Golang, any other language, but to interact with cloud using Python, there's a library, Boto 3. I will cover all of those things in detail, and this is how the program look like. Anyone have any question? Please do ask question, please. Really, I will appreciate. Can I move ahead? Okay, as you. Yeah, ask.
Kartikeya, this Docker containers, we are covering the Docker only, right?
Sorry?
The Kubernetes. I think for container, I think over here we are just covering the Docker, right?
So you
Kubernetes.
know my senior staff engineer build Dockerize the code. I'm not the one who Dockerize the code. My senior staff engineer who have like 15 years of experience, he work on this Docker and Kubernetes. But what
Okay.
we as a young guys we think that we can able to learn every technology. Kubernetes and Docker are two separate things, two separate use case. Same like MongoDB and MySQL. Same like Postgres as well. So my friend was giving interview of Oyo day before yesterday, and I was sitting in the same room. The interviewer came and not asked that what is Docker, what is Kubernetes. He asked the data engineering level of question. That question was for data engineer, and he asked a question. Your company was using Postgres to for putting the data. Your X companies. Then why not data warehouse? The question was why you guys are storing data in Postgres, not building a data warehouse. These type of questions you will see in data engineering. People will come and ask you, write a SQL query to do this. Write a Python code to interact with these services, or they may ask you how we can interact with AWS using Python, or just write a Python code to, this is the JSON body you are receiving, format this body and then manipulate it somehow, and then send this data to another thing and store it in DB and all. These are the kind of tutorials or things people do in company. Even me as well, write those kind of tutorials and write those kind of small scripts in the company. And as a engineer, data engineer, or you may go to another company, you will not be doing things from scratch as a junior or mid-level, but you will be, how you will be doing things, or what is the right way. You go to a company, join a company, go to their existing code base, and then your tech lead asks you, okay, now you are hired, you have gone through the code base, you understand what this service is doing. Go there, make a small change. Go there, make a implement a small functionality. So first, to understand the code base, you should have knowledge of, if the code base is in Python, you should have complete knowledge of Python. And to make the changes, you should have knowledge of data engineering. How to make the changes, how to test your changes. And even I make small changes, like 3-4 line of code changes, but I test them on using AWS, Linux, and Airflow. And now, so I test them. I test my code using these tools and technologies. This is how the things work. This is how the data engineering look like in reality, not what people think. So
Okay.
every source, every if you will see any product in the market, like Swiggy, you use, and people who are outside of India, they use DoorDash and they use Uber Eats, and I was using like this. These are the applications that you can use outside of India. I mean, or food ordering applications. Zomato, Swiggy did not work. Uber, DoorDash is there, and then some other major vendors are there, Nando's and all. So, so every product, any product which you use in market, it's just amazing piece of code behind it that is working. So all the data engineering is working in your the time you order a food. All the data engineering is implemented in that. So how it work like? The code is running in Python behind. I mean, I guess we use Java. So just imagine the code is running in Python when you order food from Swiggy or Dunzo or DoorDash. So the moment you order your food, it got into suppose AWS queue, and then those events are happening real time. Those are real time events. You will get with your driver detail and all that. All is real time. That is all processed into AWS streaming, not streaming. AWS queue, that is called Kafka. There's something called there's a AWS service which is called AWS Kinesis, which is I will tell you what, there are 2-3 kinds of software as well. So AWS Kinesis is the managed version of AWS developed by the AWS engineers. So what they did, they were the thing open source Kafka, which is used to process the real-time events. Kafka was there. So AWS guys, what they did, they implemented their using Kafka architecture, they implemented their AWS Kinesis. So when a company have AWS subscription, in place of using the open source Airflow or its open source Kafka, they use the managed version. Managed version means they use their own cloud because they're already paying for it. It is easy to set up and implement or test. So when you order food, your Python backend script run, your ID is generated with the help of SQL within your code. There are some insert queries which the data got inserted into database, and then AWS is there. These thousands and millions of users are using the food on the season of Diwali or on the season of Christmas. So there's a huge burden on the software piece of code itself. So they use the AWS, they run their code on machines. Machines means suppose there's a machines means GPU, TPU, they use your code will run fastly, very, very fast on those machines. And to interact with those machines, when you are building your piece of code, you use the Linux. This is how the things works. I wish I could show you, but I joined from my another laptop. So I can't share my screen to show you this all things. But yeah, we will be learning all of this. So this is how the data engineering look like. And in market, now majority of jobs which people post, they were previously they used to be a software engineer, but now because this is a buzz term, or people think that they need data and all, and they need data engineers. So they are advertising some software engineering jobs as data engineer as well. But in reality, data engineering, software engineering, and these all are small subsets or overlap of each other. Now I will tell you this life of a programmer as data engineer. What is this? So I told you that how this data engineering will look like, introduction to data engineering as well. Now come to types of data engineering. Just keep everything in mind, whatever I'm telling you, or make notes, please. Do make notes, because notes never go unuseful. They are always useful. So there are 3 kinds of data engineering in market. So just choose your domain in which you want to go. And before choosing domain, apply to jobs blindly. Domain will be chosen when you got the opportunity. But the first thing is applying for jobs after having a nice resume. So there are 3 types of data engineering which you will see the job advertisement in market. The first one is data engineering SQL heavy, which means data engineering analytics heavy. So in that data engineering, their major demand will be having some knowledge of Python, having majority or advanced knowledge of SQL, and having some knowledge of cloud. So as a data engineer, you will be writing code, you will be writing Python, but majority of time you will be writing SQL within your Python code, and then for analyzing insights, forming insights, and building your data engineering team. So that is data engineering on analytics side, which is data engineering SQL heavy. Second data engineering is backend heavy, which I was be doing and I love to do, and which I am doing currently. So data engineering backend heavy means all of these data tech stack will be there, but SQL will be less. Majority of part will be AWS, Python, writing codes, and these all small Linux is there, AWS is there, Airflow. It depends on company to company. But SQL will be less. And then there is something called AWS and Python, how you can interact with AWS using Boto 3 library. I will show you the documentation. So this is a second category of data engineering. Data engineering backend heavy, which means the data engineering which you guys will be doing is heavily programming based. You will be working like a programmer. You shouldn't worry about SQL. Majority of time you was writing codes, interacting with cloud, building on top of cloud, building with cloud. This is a second category of data engineering. There is some part of DevOps as well, because data engineering is like a full stack engineer. There's some part of DevOps as well. That's why where this Airflow and Docker and setting your whole Python code, setting AWS environment, Docker as well, PySpark environment as well, downloading everything, setting Kafka as well, will come into picture. And when you deploy your code in production, there your DevOps skills come into picture, your Linux command and all. So DevOps is there in the second category, which is data engineering backend heavy. Some part of DevOps is there. The third category is data engineering on cloud, which you will see advertisement as a cloud data engineer in market, or sometimes as now these days software engineer infrastructure, where you will be just interacting with clouds, building using AWS UI or command line. You will be building the services and all, starting the services, ending the service, and then deploying other people code as well. As a data engineer, you will be getting the code from the other team, backend team. You will be deploying those code and all. So the third category is data engineering, which is cloud heavy. Sometimes it is called cloud data engineer as well. So this third category includes heavily DevOps skill, Linux skill, cloud skills, interacting with cloud using the management console, CLI, command line interface, building Docker, like building Docker files, building Kubernetes files, and managing everything. And it is not important that your code is working in your system. It should be important that your code should work in every system. Where they come into picture, they deploy our code, take our code from the repo, GitHub repo, and then deploy our code in different environments. So suppose you use the application Google Pay. Google Pay should work on your Android mobile, which is 20,000 rupees. Google Pay should work on your Android mobile, which is like 3,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees. Google Pay should work on Apple as well. Google Pay should work on BlackBerry devices as well. So this is where these skills, cloud data engineering skills, come into picture, or like simply DevOps skills come into picture. And then we say it as a cloud data engineer. So what are the three categories? Data engineering, analytics heavy, data engineering, cloud heavy, data engineering, this DevOps heavy. These are the three categories of data engineering which we observe in market. And according to these categories, you have to carefully learn, because you can't learn everything. And then, among these three categories, I have put all of the skills which is required in these three categories. Some people, before purchasing this course, they were telling me, why not Azure, why not GCP? So if you go in a company to join a company, and suppose you had worked on AWS, and their requirement is for Azure, so they will hire you. It's fine. They will hire you. They will not say that you have worked on AWS, but we are using it Azure. You will not be hired. There's a less probability, but they will hire you, because these all are different name of clouds. The services work in same way. So this is the way companies use these all skills. It's just company specific. Somebody use AWS, somebody use Azure, somebody use GCP. Someone use Python, someone uses Scala. Someone use Airflow, Docker, Kubernetes. Airflow is like scheduling tool. Somebody use Airflow, somebody use Docker, somebody use Kubernetes, somebody use There's PostgreSQL, and somebody use SQL, somebody use for data processing, somebody use PySpark, and in some companies, the small amount of data is processed with the help of pandas as well. And then here come to Linux. Some companies use the command line interface, some companies use the bash command, some company use the ZSH or Brew. It's just another version of this command line interface in Apple. Some companies use their open source Kafka, some companies use their managed version of Kafka. Managed version means the Kafka which is present inside their inside the AWS. So some companies also use that thing. Everything is clear. How I'm just relating everything. This is just an introduction. I'm relating everything. So you will be very focused and ready for the next classes. Are you guys okay? Can anyone respond?
Yes. Yes.
आ रहा है ना समझ में आप लोगों को? You guys are understanding, right?
Yes, it's clear here. आ रहा है.
Yeah. So just keep this in mind. There's nothing in this world who is independent. If you really want to succeed in life, just go in a group. If you will go walk alone on a path, if you may fall, nobody is there to get you back. In the same way, your mentor Durgesh Yadav was not doing anything in his life, but me, I was getting success, my friend was getting success, we are a group of 4 people, we were getting succeed. But what we did, we all gone together. It's not like we have to just think of our own. We all looked for each other, and then now whatever we are doing fine in life. Hold for a second. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any question you guys want to ask? Okay, something there is.
This one question,
Yeah.
in data engineering, there is also Hadoop and all those things.
Yes.
So are those also required, or we can go with SQL itself?
Hadoop. Okay. Did you research by yourself what is Hadoop?
No, I have not worked on that Hadoop part, but I'm on database part. So many of the data engineering Hadoop and that Spike or some other things were
Yeah.
there.
The companies advertise position like this, but as I told you, whatever is there, it's more than sufficient. Now I'm telling you
Big
Hadoop.
data,
Yeah, now I'm telling you Hadoop. This Hadoop part. Wait.
Hadoop, big data, these all things which we
Yeah, big
actually
data.
didn't have.
Big data is itself a term just to represent huge amount of data. Hadoop is there. Okay. I'm telling you what is Hadoop. So Hadoop is a framework which is open source. Just keep this in mind. There are, I don't know in this PPT I have covered or not, but okay. There is, I'm missing that part in this PPT. Okay, let me tell you. Can you see my Chrome screen?
Yes.
Okay. Where is the new window? Can I drag this one? New tab. Okay, so let me tell you one more thing. There are two kinds of software in market, which is open source software and proprietary software. Open source software means which anyone can use, like Python. Anyone can use, you don't have to pay to use them. And proprietary software is like AWS. If you really want to use AWS, you have to pay for it. In the same way, there are some offers there are some software which is like PostgreSQL, which is free version, but which is open source, anyone can use it. But if the organization is using the same software, they have to pay for it. Now it comes under proprietary software. AWS, just keep these two things in mind. Open source and proprietary softwares are different. If I go back to presentation, if I go back to this, where is that presentation? Okay. If I go back to this presentation, you will see Kafka, that guy asked Hadoop, and I was talking about Kinesis as well. AWS Kinesis. Kafka is an open source application which you have to set up and all, it will work. But AWS Kinesis is same as Kafka, which AWS guys has implemented and selling it as a proprietary software. In the same way, Hadoop is Hadoop distributed file system. So it stores data across multiple machines in Hadoop cluster. In the same way, AWS S3 is working. It's working like a Hadoop. So if your company budget is low, and if your company legacy is to use the open source software, they are not using cloud, or maybe they have their own cloud, they will ask you to have Hadoop. They will ask you to have Kafka skills. If your company has their proprietary subscription like AWS, Azure, and anything, they will ask you, do you have cloud skills? Are you getting my point, what I'm saying?
Yes.
So don't get confused and don't feel fear of this. In data engineering, there are so many tools come into picture, so many tools. But there are, if you stuck with three things, Python, SQL, and cloud, these three things will take you so far.
Right. Actually, in many of them now, that Hadoop, BigQuery, these terms actually were quite
What is
heavy
BigQuery?
to hear.
What is BigQuery? What happened? Google tried to implement their own syntactical version of SQL in like some years before, 3-4 years before, on their own platform, GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform, where they have a console which is called Google BigQuery. And Google BigQuery's work in same way like AWS Redshift work or AWS DynamoDB, blah, 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 they work. So these all queries are running on a machine. Machine means GPU, TPU, RAM, ROM, something like that. So they can able to fetch data quickly from the large tables. Millions of tables are there. Like suppose there are 500 millions of data in a table, and then you have to fetch a single record. So these queries which you will fire, if you will fire it on your local system, your queries will never finish. But if you fire in your queries on their system, it will take some minutes or some hours to finish. In the same way, Google BigQuery is something like their own managed version of writing SQL. So what happened? Google tried to make their own syntactical version of SQL, which they failed terribly. Nobody can replace SQL. SQL syntax are amazing. PostgreSQL is there. It is amazing. With little modification of syntax, but Google tried to completely change the syntax. They failed terribly, and then now they've gone back to the basic SQL, but they have their platform, which is called BigQuery, Google BigQuery, and then people use it. In the same way, Hadoop is there. You have to manage your own Hadoop cluster.
Scala, can you just tell Scala also was there?
Scala. Okay.
Yeah.
So Apache, there are two things, Apache Spark and PySpark. Can anyone tell me the difference, Apache Spark versus PySpark? Okay, I'm telling you. So Apache Spark and PySpark are related, but they are two different technologies. Apache Spark is open source. PySpark is a Python API for Apache Spark, which means if you want to use Apache Spark, and using the Python syntax or leveraging the power of Python syntax, you will install pip install or something PySpark in your system. But if you want to use Apache Spark is the same. It's an open source distributed computing platform system, which is written using Java and the programming language Scala. Scala is a functional programming language. Python is a high level object oriented plus functional programming language as well. Python is both object oriented and a functional programming language as well. Functional programming is like, I'm telling you, just explaining you in one sentence. In functional programming, you can able to call functions from functions, or you can able to call functions, get its output, pass it to another function. I mean, it is something like that. We will see some functional programming syntax where we will see all of these things. So that's where Scala come into picture. Some companies who want the performance, huge performance. There's a company in UK, like in India, we have something like GTV or Colors Viacom 18. In UK, there's a company which is Sky Broadcast. You guys can search on LinkedIn. Sky Broadcast. They hire the Scala engineers. So it's company specific. If you have knowledge of multiple programming languages, it's fine. Scala is very hard to learn, not that easy. The pipelines which are built in Scala are really hard to debug. If you go in a company and they are using the Scala, you are coming from Python background, it will take you so much effort and time to understand all of those structures. So if any company is using Scala, they will be using Apache Spark, because Apache Spark works seamlessly with Scala. If any company is using Python as a legacy software, they will use PySpark for data processing. In the same way, you use Pandas. In the same way, you use Pandas for data processing and NumPy for mathematical computation. And in place of NumPy for mathematical computation, there are some other libraries as well. But if you will see all of these, whatever these things are in the market, Pandas, NumPy, Dask, lot of APIs are there. There's no end. There's no end to this open source community. But the core is having your concepts clear, why we are doing this, how it will benefit me, how I can use it, how can it, or I don't know currently, how can I use it, but how can I make it useful in future, and structuring everything. The way you cook food is like structure all the ingredients and something is the output. In the same way, whatever the things are written, you can see on the screen, you have to structure all of this when you will go in a company. But to get it into a company, you should have the knowledge of all of this at its root level. You should have the knowledge of all of this at its root level. And what I believe is strongly, I'm telling you completely on your face, I don't have amazing SQL skills, but I have good programming skills. That's why Python, SQL, and cloud will take you so far if you do things in a right way. Then this is, I told you what is coding. One more thing I want to remove all your doubts. I told you open source and proprietary software. I told you what is coding. Coding is not just like writing some piece of code. Coding is like reading someone else's code when you go into a company. Every time I go into a company, I was like reading someone else's code base, and then after 2 months, when I'm like, okay, now I can on board, or it depends on the company as well. After like 1 week, if your mentor is good, you start able to make changes, contribution. You started to make your contributions. In the same way, coding is like reading someone else's code base. To read someone else's code base, you should be very good at coding. You have to, if you want to read pipelines are just small piece of small components which work independently in data engineering. So you have to be very good at reading code so that you can understand the pipeline, data engineering pipeline, then you can be able to make changes in the pipeline. And this is how the data engineering code works. You write your code, you make some changes, you build a small service or pipeline, then you test your pipeline, you run your code on the machine, on the AWS or the machine, you can say. You run your code on AWS machine, you test them, you find the bug, and then whatever you are doing through the Linux commands. So that's why data engineering is heavy. But in software world, I mean, in software engineering world, something is called front end and back end, simple. And nowadays, backend is not just a backend, it is the data product backend. Because in backend, you have to populate some data, you have to read some from somewhere, you have to implement a feature, you have to process data, and then in the front end, you have to make a UI, you have to make the UX, how the user will interact, you have to make the presentation, whatever the code, this Gmail and all is working. In the backend itself, they have machine learning implemented. In the backend itself, they have the amazing UI is there. In the backend, their code is really, really good. That's why, I mean, they don't sucks. Their time complexity, space complexity of their code is very good. So they have a really strong backend. Their code don't break because they do testing as well. They test their code multiple times. So this is how the software world works. It's not just like you will learn Python or you will learn SQL and you don't know how to use them and you don't know how to apply, you will get the opportunity. Understood? Can anyone please respond? Hello. Okay. I take it as a yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Any questions you want to ask? Any doubt you have around this software engineering, data engineering, these tools, whatever is going in the market? Anything? Any confusion you have? Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
This is Joseph. I am from Ethiopia and I have some question related to
I
data.
can't hear you. Can you please adjust your mic?
Okay, how about now? Am I audible right now?
Yeah, ask.
Yeah, currently I am building a data pipeline using BigQuery.
Okay.
Yeah, I have different data sources, data coming from Google Analytics, Hotjar, and Google Search Console.
Okay.
And I have some question. Should I put all of them in the same project in BigQuery or use different projects?
Sorry, can you ask again? What is the problem you are facing?
Yeah, I'm like I have some question. You know, I want to collect data. Should I collect all the data in one project or different project in BigQuery?
Can you please write? I can't able to hear you. There's a
Okay.
lot of distortion or your mic quality is very bad.
Okay, I will write.
Yeah, please write the question. Okay.
Okay.
So, as I told you, building logic and computational thinking in data engineering. So, like this guy asks this question, he's working on GCP. The data is coming from multiple sources, which makes sense. You have an application, user interact on website, user interact on your mobile application. Sometimes user give poll. So, and in the same way that Google collect data, they collect data. You use the web interface. You use their location services. You use their YouTube. You use their Chrome. So this is how this company, Google, collect data of you. Data is coming from multiple sources. And in the same way, inside a company, sometimes the data is present in the legacy Postgres table. Sometimes the data is on cloud S3. Sometimes the data is here, there. So okay, so this guy has a question. I have the data coming from GA4 and then GSC and Hotjar. So these are the data sources from which he's getting data. And then I use the same project on BigQuery or different one. Look, okay, so you have to get the data, and then what you have to do? You have to do some analytics or any other thing you have to do. Can you please write? You have to do the analytics, or what is the work you have to do? Just get the data and run it on BigQuery. Analysis. Okay. Whatever the data from 3 sources are coming, I assume they must have different table structure, right? Yes. Okay. So to make it, suppose you want to make a change in future in any of your code base, whatever the things you will be working on. So keep all of them separate project, clean code, and then you can able to present it to someone easily. If you have GA4, GSC, and Hotjar, so just use the 3 different projects. It's fine. It's not a big deal. You have to just make 3 separate, files, and then you can able to do it. Always try to decouple your code. Suppose if you do something with suppose you are getting data from GA4, GSC, and Hotjar in one file. It will be very hard to debug if something will break. Then you will think, okay, GA4 break or GSC break or Hotjar break. But if you have different folders, then you can able to debug quickly. I hope I have given your answer.
Karthik, what are the software we should install now in our
Sorry?
laptop? What are the softwares we need to install in our system? Like
Visual
Python, we
Studio
use
Code,
like a
Visual
Colab.
Studio Code. Visual install, go to YouTube, install Visual Studio
Okay.
Code and Python 3.11. I guess I have the same thing, Python 3.11.
Okay. We can use Colab, right?
Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah.
you can use Colab, but I really want you guys to install this thing. I really want you guys to install VS Code. Colab, you can use Colab, but just install VS Code as well.
Thanks.
Okay. So I told you these things. This is data engineering, how this data engineering cloud happened. We use the library Python and Boto3 to call the services. And if you want to interact with AWS, you can use any of their services using your backend Python call. Wait for a second. So yeah, this is called AWS Software Development Kit SDK for Java. There's a AWS SDK for Scala. There's a AWS SDK for Python. So you can interact your piece of code with AWS. You can merge it. I will show you code. From the next class, I will show you code as well. But yeah, so I told you role of programming language in data engineering is because whatever the pipeline is there, it's all written in a specific programming language. What is pipeline? A certain piece of code doing something. Maybe reading the data, maybe reading it from SQS, sending data from point A to point B, manipulating data in between, sending it to point D, getting it from point A, and then giving your data to as a data engineer, you are giving your data to the data science team. You are cleaning the data, putting it in DB, then analytics team is using it to enhance the product. So that's how this data thing is working. And even there's a company like Expedia, and they use the same thing. I mean, reservations booking are there. People visit their website, just scroll their page, and then go out. And they want to analyze why people do this, what we can improve, on our website. Why people are just coming, not booking, and they just want to go through the specific thing. Maybe they are facing some issue while booking flight, or maybe they're not getting good deals. So this is the way how things work. And I got a project. There's a company Postman. I got a project, pre-internship project. I didn't get selected, but the project was like something like I built the project. That time I didn't had presentation skills. The project was consist of a CSV, and they were asking some questions. One of the question was, we have launched a new product. We have launched a new product. At what time we can show that product wait. Wait, can you please hold for a second? What happened to these guys? They're not getting the information. It's a challenge. Okay. So yeah, so the pipeline is a small piece of code which is written somewhere in the back end, and then you are using your, I mean, there's many manipulations are happening within the code base. Oh my God. So one more thing which I just hold for a second. What is happening? I'm hearing some. Okay. Now, how to think in the right direction as a data engineer? This is really important. So to think in right direction as a data engineer, you have to be understand the every service in a company. If you join a company, you have to understand every service from if I say, let me give you an example. Okay, suppose you joined a geoscience industry and they have the geoscience data. Like when you dig a oil well, there are some data points which are coming, and then you have to use that. You have to, as a data engineer, you have to understand the data, make pipelines. So the thinking in that direction is like in a company, first get to know what is the data source and what this service is doing, which tables this service is populating. These three answers. What this service is doing, from where it is reading the data, from where it is dumping the data, or from to which another service it is connecting. These are the three things you have to be focused on while thinking in that direction as a data engineer. And in the same way, you can break the problem of ETL, extract, transform, load. Data is coming from an X source. You are transforming your data using your code. Just understand this ETL happens within a code. These are Python script. This is how this ETL thing happen. Okay. So it's not like some other thing. This is the way how this ETL thing happen. And then extract, transform, load, or extract, load, transform. This ETL thing is there. Everyone do ETL. They just get the data, transform it, and load it somewhere. And then I told you already how to use all of these data engineering tools to solve a data challenge. Learn specific things. Learn small things, and then in your code base integrate them all. This is how the software engineer or the data engineer work. But the core is you should be able to understand a specific programming language. You should be able to write code properly. Because behind every software or behind every pipeline, there is code. There is nothing else. There is code, proper code. And Python, SQL, and cloud. Just keep three things in mind. Other things are company specific tools. Some companies use cron jobs. Some companies use cron jobs to run like the way you run the code, you press the enter and your work is done. In the same way, some companies use these cron jobs to fire their code in a specific event. Some companies use Airflow to just get the things done. Some companies use Prefect as well, which is an open source tool like Airflow to push the code. Some companies use Hadoop. Some companies use Kinesis. Some companies use AWS. They purchase the whole AWS. Their headache is done. And some companies use Kubernetes. Some companies use Docker. So some companies use Power BI. Some companies use Tableau. It's not a big thing. So it's just about common sense. If you have common sense and if you have the knowledge, you can able to get everything. If you don't have common sense and you just have the knowledge, you will not get anything. Does anyone have any question? Hello. Can you guys please respond?
Yes.
Ask.
Yes, clear. Yeah. What you said till now, that is clear.
Okay. Just keep this mindset and then we will learn as well. We will apply for opportunities. We will go for
Which is the popular ETL tool used?
ETL. I mean, I just told you what is ETL. What do you mean by ETL tool? You can tell me ETL tool.
Extract, transfer, and load.
No, this is the definition. You can
Yeah.
tell me any popular ETL tool if you know.
Actually, I worked in a corporate, so they had their own applications for reconciliation and all.
Yeah, there are 2-3 tools in the market which companies use, like
I guess
Informatica,
Airflow, Yeah.
Talent. Okay.
Talent, right?
Yeah, Informatica, or they use the Talent. But
Snowflake,
sorry.
Snowflake.
Yeah, Snowflake. Companies use Snowflake. Snowflake, I mean, you can say Snowflake is there, but why you are worrying about these tools if you know what is ETL?
Okay.
If companies really need someone they just want to work on talent, then they want you to have the knowledge of how to use that particular software. Suppose
Okay.
you use PhonePe, so you know how to use PhonePe. But if I ask you, do you know how to use Google Pay? You will say, I don't know how to use Google Pay, but I know how PhonePe works and how Google Pay works.
Right. Got it.
In the same way,
Thanks.
if you have knowledge of SQL, you will say, I have knowledge of SQL. I can write the PostgreSQL as well. But I can't able to write the MongoDB queries because MongoDB queries are different. And
Yeah.
one more thing, as a database, companies can use the SQL, companies can use the PostgreSQL, companies can use the MongoDB as well. Okay. So just don't worry about these tools and tech. Just worry about what is core. Core is Python, SQL, and cloud. That's all
Right.
three things plus your common sense. Common sense of what? Common sense of creating your opportunities, like pushing yourself to do something. Not like I will do the course and then course will give me a job. Doing just any course will not give you a job. Any course in the world will not give you a job, but it will solve your hurdle up to 70%. And you have to push your skills. Like suppose, for example, you learned from me, then you got the opportunity, you are giving interview. In interview, they are asking some questions, but you didn't know the answer. Write those answers, come to me or go to internet, read those answers, and then find the pattern, whatever I taught you, or whatever you have heard somewhere, something in your past, and then just try to try to relate them. Try to find the patterns. This is what a human brain do. They just used to find the pattern in everything. If you're very good at finding pattern, then you are sorted. So this is the way how I want you guys or whoever will see the recording to think in this direction. And yeah, so from the next class we will start, which is tomorrow. I don't know how many of you guys are aware. I mean, how many of you?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Karthik, is data structure will also be covered in the course?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you this line, right? This point. What is data structure and its use in data engineering? Okay, let me tell you.
Okay.
Let me tell you guys. There's a huge misconception in the market. Tell me what is coding. The person who asks the question, tell me what is coding.
Coding is to enable the computer to solve the problem for you.
What
It's
is
the
data
language.
structure?
Data structure is how the data can be stored so that the least memory is used.
What is competitive programming?
Competitive programming.
Hmm.
Competitive programming, again, I think is the same thing, to solve at the shortest time with the
Hmm.
uh,
What is easy level question? What is easy level coding question?
easy level coding not aware. Yeah.
Okay. What is medium level coding question?
The one which is higher than the EG is medium level.
Yes. So the thing is, people think that data structure is another concept of computer science, like networking, database. Just give me a moment.
Hello, hi, Durgesh this side. I just want to ask that all the 13 people who are here are the part of this data engineering batch.
Yes. Yes.
If anyone is not the part of the batch, just ping in the chat box. Who's not the part of the batch. And to all of you, this session was only like to make you understand what are the things we are going to cover and what are things are in the part. Tomorrow, we will have our lectures, proper lectures from scratch. And the people who are not a part, like who are here and not a part of this batch, can directly ping me on my number. And we will talk regarding this. That's all.
Okay, so what I was saying, this coding, data structure, or competitive programming, simple question, medium question, hard question. Data structures and algorithm is not another concept in computer science. It is not like you have to learn networking skills. You have to learn operating system skills. It's not like that. So when a programming problem comes, when an interviewer asks you to write a piece of code to print number from 1 to 10 or to generate number from 1 to 10, that is called coding. Coding is like just writing piece of code in any programming language. But that question itself is easy question. Then your interviewer asks you another question which is some complex question that you have to, there is a string and you have to remove the duplicate characters which are coming consecutively. That is a bit tough question. Then you write some piece of code, then you get it done. Whether interviewers said it, do you think it's really optimized one, or it's a nice problem, or it's a nice algorithm to this problem? Then you realized, okay, there are some things in coding, there are some concepts in coding which is, for if I use that thing, I can able to solve this question easily. Those concepts is called data structures. Okay, so a hard level or medium level question, people generally refer it as a data structure question. Suppose you have a question on tree, and tree uses the tree uses various data structures, then you will say, okay, it's a hard level question, then it is a data structure question, but it's not actually. It's not actually. If I show you, if I share, can you see my Visual Studio Code?
Yes.
Can you guys see my Visual Studio Code? Okay. Okay. Suppose this is the problem. This is the I got this assignment from a augmented reality company 1 month before. That was the, maybe you guys know Pokemon Go. Do you guys know this game Pokemon Go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so this company Niantic Inc, you can search on LinkedIn. This company created the game Pokemon Go, so I was interviewing for this company Niantic Inc. Not in the Pokemon Go team, they were in the another team as a augmented reality Python software engineer, something profile they have advertised on LinkedIn, AR research software engineer. So they've given me this assignment. I failed. I could able to solve this, but I failed in their eyes. There was a horse, this horse, and this horse is in the target image, which is here, or maybe somewhere over there, or maybe somewhere over there, maybe somewhere over there. I have to find the location of this horse. If you can see, this is a machine learning problem. I can able to find the location of the horse. Look, I can able to find the actual horse, and then I have to plot I can able to find another horse as well. And then this is the false positive. And then this is the heat map, which they want to see. Where is the horse? Okay. So this is a hard level problem. This assume it like a hard level problem. Okay. Assume it like a hard level problem, if you will see. But at root level, if you will see, this question use for loop, simple for loop of Python. This question use variable. This question use simple print statement. This question use simple function calling, getting the output. Okay. This uses string formatting. This uses the dictionary. So when you solve a hard problem, you say that problem it as that is a data structure problem. That is a hard problem, and we have to use data structures. Data structure is not another concept. Coding is there. Coding question is easy. You say is normal coding. Coding question is hard, where you use some data structures. Data structures are like data structures. You have a string question. What is this? A equal to this. Okay. This is in Python, you say this is a list. But the way I want to use this list, I can use it as a stack as well in solving my question. I can use this list, this is a list, simple Python list. But the way I want to use it, I can use it as a stack. I can use it as a queue. I can use it simply as a array or list. Okay. So this is what data structure is, and then this is I mean, these all are just same thing. These all are not the new things coming from the market. These are also just the tools, which is the coding itself, which we will learn. Look, I will show you. Yeah, string is a data structure, tuple is a data structure, list is a data structure, set is a data structure, dictionary is a data structure. High level abstract data structures are list, queue, stack, tree, graph. Okay, these are abstract level data structures. But these basic data structures are these all things. We will see them in the next class, all of this. Tomorrow we will start with basic input and output in Python. How to take input, how to get the output, ways of getting output, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And
Okay.
if you guys have any other question, ping to Durgesh. If anyone want to enroll in this program, guys can enroll. So I'm ending the meeting for you all. Okay, see ya. Bye.
Bye. Bye.